Welcome back to Falun, where we're waiting for the second phase of the Nordic combined team sprint today, and the defending champions France have started the day in the best possible form, winning the jump. Both Broad and Lamy Chapuis producing jumps of 126 meters, so good spirits.
David Goldstrom, it's of course Mike Dixon, and Mike has actually been out there and around the Nordic combined loop. Mike.
It's a test, David, as usual, World Championships, and we're seeing most of the course in the background there. It's 100 meters longer than the out-and-out cross-country skiers, their sprint course. It's a challenge, and the teams are very tight together.
But essentially, a lot of it's made up of that horseshoe that you can see above the graphics there. Over 3 Celsius as these Nordic combiners line up here.
What I've noticed, David, since the women's 30-kilometer race, the officials have been out. They've salted the track, therefore tightening up the track, taking the moisture out, and that will make this journey easier for the Nordic combined.
So just a couple of minutes to go. And so 1,500 meters the journey. Then you come back in. There's a 40-meter exchange zone, and you hand over to your partner, and you must actually physically touch your partner on the back to achieve a legal so the clock is ticking. They're under starters orders. The Nordic combined team sprint, the last of the gold medals for the combiners, and France are away as a result of their very good jumping on the hill this morning. And it's Francois Brault, the silver medalist from the big hill individual competition, to set the pace. Yoshito Watabe to pick up the chase, 11 seconds, and then he'll be handing over to Akito Watabe. Eric Prenzel for Germany, partnered by Johannes Ridsek, 21 seconds back after the jumping phase. And then it'll be Norway, Magnus Moen, partnered by Clemenson. They have 44 seconds to make. There they are in Team 4, Team 5 on the right there. Czech Republic, the talented Thomas Portak, partnered by Miroslav de Wright, but a big roar by the Norwegian fans for Magnus Moen. And Portik's away for the Czech Republic. Finland, the heady days of Lajunen and Maninen are long gone, and now it's down to Ilkka Herrala and Jim Hertul to try and make up a deficit of 1 minute and 19 seconds. They wear bib number 6 on the left of your screen. On the right there's Austria. Really disappointing, Sepp Schneider, a poor jump this morning. Bernie Gruber not at his best either. And the Austrians now with 1 minute and 32 seconds to find. And they go off almost together with Italy. Sam Costa on the opening leg. Alessandro Pittin, his partner, already an individual silver medalist from these championships. He will race the second leg. So up the hill they go, and Francois Brault, the French, thinking that it might well come down to a pack racing for the gold medal by the time we come down to the last of the rotations.
Well, David, I'm thinking back 2 years when the French team started out with a 43-second deficit, went on to take the gold medal that day. Today they're at the front, and maybe in a sense there's more pressure at the front, more to lose. And Norway, Magnus Moen starting 44 seconds behind. Can he do to the French what they did last year, 2 years ago, to take the gold medal? He's gone off extremely fast. He's tried to get the psych out, if you like, those ahead of him, Brault, Watabe and Frenzel.
Well, Norway have certainly been the standout performers in the 2 World Cup competitions leading into these championships. This is all completely different because it matters most what happens on the day. And it was the French work, 126 meters for Francois Brault and 126 meters from Jason Lamy Chapuis that have given them the advantage. But you can see Germany there, Johannes Ridsek on the opening leg, determined and getting past Watabe of Japan. Sorry, Eric Frenzel, I should say.
That's right. Well, I think Frenzel's done a great job there, David, to take back 11 seconds, pull back a further second as he went ahead of Watabe. He's definitely got his sights focused on this man, Francois Brault. He wants to get up and level.
Francois Brault coming into the exchange for the first time. And here's Jason Lamy-Chapuis. All through these championships, we've had some concern because of Jason having a problem. It's not quite the calf muscle, but it has been affecting him. But as we talked to our French colleagues earlier today, they say, you know, Jason Lamy-Chapuis is a really straightforward, honest guy, and he would not have elected to race unless he was absolutely sure he could give of his best.
Well, that's got to be respected. They know him well, but I think, David, the issue with Jason Lamy-Chapuis, we saw him fading after about 8 kilometers in the endurance. It may be the same, say, 5th time round in this sprint competition.
Well, there you can see that France started 11 seconds ahead of Japan and 21 ahead of Germany. So as far as Japan is concerned, they've lost ground. As far as Germany are concerned, they haven't really made any.
They certainly haven't, Kate. Magnus Moen, well, he's got it from 44 down to 34. Of course, that's behind France. And that's a big step forward. Not sure about Clemenson, whether he can do the same amount of damage on Jason Lamy-Chapuis. In fact, if he can do any time deficit back on the Frenchman.
I'm really glad that we've got a whole lot more spectators who've stayed back to watch this decision as the leader out of the stadium on the second rotation. So still the second men out, and this is Jason Lamy-Chapuis on the first of his 5 journeys around this 1500-meter track. And just to reiterate, France with a 20-second advantage through the first 1500 meters over Germany and Japan. 34 back to Norway, who started 44 off. Czech Republic 61 seconds back, and they were 55 seconds. So Norway have made a little ground in the first 1500 meters.
They have. I'm not sure that Håvard Clemenson can keep that same initiative. He's trying. He's really pushing hard up the second major climb, the horseshoe. But in fact, I don't think he has pulled back any time at all. He's running kind of level, so Norway initiative gone. Further back, David, some of the other teams, Finland 121 behind, Austria 133, so no gain there by Austria. The Americans 10th, 204 behind.
Akito Watabe and Johannes Rydzek. Of course, Johannes Rydzek, the owner already of 2 golds and a bronze medal here. And out goes Francois Brault again, gets a little pat on the back in the 40-meter exchange box and goes out to try and protect something like a 20-second lead. Here come Japan and Germany. And, well, let's see how that works out, because as they slow down to come in to do the exchange, it's not really an honest appraisal of where they are. It's all down now to Francois Brault on the second of his 5 rotations to try and regain the initiative.
Very much, and that was a look of desperation there from Magnus Moen. He was saying, where is my teammate? All the work he did to pull back from 44, it's been lost, I'm afraid. Well, 38, it's still to the advantage a little.
Yeah, and the next man coming in, this is for the Czech Republic, so it's Dvorak handing back to Portik, and Czech Republic 59 seconds back. They've sort of steadied the boat a little bit. It was 55, but no real harm done. But in this first couple of rotations, you need to start eating into the deficit if you're in the positions that the Czech Republic and Finland find. And Austria there with 78 seconds to make up. So they have had some improvement, because they were 92 off.
Yeah, 118 now, 132 on starting. The track is really breaking up in the stadium, David, and for these bigger athletes, Magnus Moen, I know he's lost a lot of weight. Clemenson, he's suffering without a doubt. He's one of the heavier athletes and pressing so much through the soft snow within the stadium, better on the hill.
Francois Brault going pretty well, and now you can see this is Eric Frenzel trying to get the better of Yoshito Watabe. To his credit, is really sticking in there. They've arguably played their weakest cross-country man first, and their second man, Akito, his older brother, in the anchor position to bring them home. And this is Moen again. Really hard work, so disheartening when you've done a job and then you see it washed away.
You could see that pain in his face. I've done all this work to pull it back by 12, 13 seconds. He's lost it, but he's trying to gain it again. And again, as I keep mentioning it, but it's a huge factor in this race, the depth that the skis are now sinking into this very, very soft, very wet, very warm snow. You have to alter your technique and lift your legs higher.
Yeah, it's really desperate, isn't it? It's desperately hard, actually, because you really want to lift them to the minimum to maintain as much contact as possible. But you have no choice when it's, you know, it's almost, well, not ankle deep, but it's getting there.
It's getting there. And Magnus Moen, he's lifting his left leg so high, which he has to, but he's riding on the edge, which is more sensible, better than Frenzel's line.
And there's a zestful Frenchman. And clearly, you know, Francois Brault would have taken a huge gulp of, you know, enthusiasm from, you know, what he did achieve individually.
Very much, and Brault at the front looking strong. The snow isn't really affecting his technique as much as it is for some of the others. Keeping composed, he's got a wonderful balance there. And he's riding right in the middle of the track. We saw Clemenson going right and then left. Straight line is the best. Jason Lamy Chapuis, you can see he's altering his technique a little as well. He's not reaching out quite as far on the kick, the side kick, to get the energy.
So away we go, and you can see there that actually in terms of the advantage, the French have regained much of that.
They have 16 seconds. Japan, just once that initiative's lost, that was a poor, I've got to say, a poor changeover. But once again, Magnus Moen's got it down to 30 seconds. Håvard Clemenson, he just needs this. It's all about tempo when it's this wet and this slow.
So Team 5, Norway, just looking at the differentials going through there. 38 seconds, hasn't really moved too much, except, well, actually 8 seconds, Moen picking up there on his second loop.
How long can he keep doing that? But he's now got Japan, David, just as you can see there, just 10 seconds ahead of the Norwegian team. They'll be looking at the bronze, they'll want to smell the silver.
Well, there was a feeling, just talking to one or two people before this race started, Mike, that actually it was going to end up, by the time we came to the last 3,000 meters, with a bunch of athletes.
I don't think so. The strength and the desire of this French team, with Francois Brault putting in such an attack, and Jason Lamy Chapuis out now, seems to be maintaining that.
And Sepp Schneider out there for Austria. Austria 121 off the leaders, and they started 132, so they're making time, but arguably not quick enough.
That's the trouble on this 1,500 meters. That's all 1,500 quite hard meters of skiing, given the deep, the wet, the soft snow. Japan desperately trying and claw back to Rydzyk. Akito's just, if he could bridge that gap, then the journey becomes so much easier when you're tucked in behind the athlete ahead.
I've got that as Yoshito is actually on this leg. What have you got to say, Mike? So far, so good for the French, as Jason Lamy Chapuis, having now completed 3 of his 1,500 meter journeys, hands back to Francois Brault. So it's the men in the red who were on the opening legs, who go out now on their next turn. So Francois Brault, Yoshito Watabe, Erik Frenzel, Magnus Moen, Thomas Portik, Ilkka Herrala for Finland, Sepp Schneider for Austria. Not all of them, as you can see, have achieved the handover.
Well, Clemenson again, David, he was handed over to at 30 seconds deficit. He's now handing back over to Moen at 37, 38. And Magnus Moen must be so frustrated. He's managing to get it, close the gap, but then it extends back out again. So it's going to be a tough one for Norway to get back onto the podium, or even to get near the podium. Germany inspired because it's down to 10 seconds. Japan at 13 seconds deficit. But you just feel that Francois Brault has realized that the gap is dangerously close at 10, so he's really putting in a surge of pace now.
Yeah, Erik Frenzel and Ridsek. It's not the first time these guys have found themselves behind after the jumping phase. And, you know, basically it's down to them, because Ridsek disappointing 118.5 meters on the hill today. Erik Frenzel 128, but it's the points added together that makes the difference. And of course they were 21 seconds down when they started the race. They've halved that deficit. So actually, of all the teams chasing France, they're the team that are really in best shape.
Well, look at further down, the man in white. So Magnus Moen, he is amazingly putting in a huge attack, trying to get back into, or take Norway up into bronze medal position.
Yes, but he must be feeling like one step forward, two steps back. I mean, no disrespect to Clemenson, but they put him on the anchor leg, and it sort of makes you wonder, well, they've obviously gone for Clemenson, who's usually very reliable on the ski jumping hill, but only 123 this morning. And Moen, who's lost a couple of kilos to try and become more effective on the hills, 127.5, a big wind-assisted effort. Didn't get a telemark landing, lost a lot of points from that point of view, and together a 44-second deficit, which the pair of them are finding really hard to reduce, and really hard to get back into contention.
Very much, and we saw Frenzel there, and again, all the athletes. There's Magnus Moen lifting so high now, so is Yoshito Watabe. But it's the same for everybody. That's the only thing they can think about, is these conditions are the same for all. They might not be enjoyable, so soft and wet, but it's equal for all.
Yeah, Norway have been the form team in the World Cup coming into these championships. They won the last 3 World Cup events, and so you would expect them to be, you know, in really good shape. But at the moment, you know, Jason just waiting here for Francois to come in. Also standing, as he was momentarily, right alongside Germany to, in a funny sort of way, actually just sort of dishearten them a little bit.
The gap's opened again. It was down to 10, and time loss here again from Erik Frenzel. Ridsek seems to be picking it up every time he's handed over to.
Well, Ridsek's the man in form, isn't he? I mean, he's the man who is a double gold medalist from these games, certainly in top shape.
And look at Magnus Moen, David. A lot of it was done on the descent. His skis just left poor old Yoshito Watabe as if he was out on a little tour. But Magnus Moen's skis were absolutely flying on the descent.
So now, brother Akito out, but 35.2 seconds. That is becoming a bit of a yawning gap.
Each time that the athletes, yes, they're getting a 3-minute break in between, but you can't get rid of the lactic acid build-up. They're keeping on moving in the break period, but 5 times around is a huge task at sprint pace.
Austria, they've got the gap down to 114 from 132, so it's going in the right direction. Unfortunately, it's not going quite quickly enough. And they're going out for Italy. That will be Samuel Costa. And up front,
Jason looking strong, looking relaxed.
Actually, it was Alessandro Pittin for Italy on the exchange going out. And Jason still looking solid here. And I think this course and this examination is really suiting him. Yesterday, he found really the journey was very hard, didn't he? Not yesterday, but 2 days ago in the 10-kilometer race.
It was in the closing stages, the last 2 kilometers, and I think when you lose a lot of training through an injury, you lose your hours, your base, and it is when you're found out. And as this sprint goes on, I think Jason Lamy Chapuis will suffer a little more than most.
And you can see Akito Watabe here for Japan taking on Håvard Clemenson and regaining the advantage between the two of them. And that just shows you that Clemenson is oh so vulnerable on the cross-country leg.
Jason Lamy Chapuis, he's going wide this time. I think that's sensible. In fact, they all are reading that the track, the straightest line is on the right side, but the best snow is on the left as we look down the hill. They've sussed that one out, and it makes it so much easier when you've got a hard base rather than that horrible deep snow.
Have they all sussed it out? Well, the Norwegians have, the Japanese haven't.
It's a lot longer round, and your instinct is to take the straight line, but look how deep it is on the inside. Well, who's going to come out better at the top of this bend? There's not much in it. I think it just feels better going on the hard-pressed snow on the left side as we look down the hill.
Well, Akito Watabe is that much more accomplished than Håvard Clemenson. And now Jason Lamy Chapuis coming round into the straight where Francois Paul awaits again. So, France. Now, this is going to get pretty important here now that Bro really tries to build on from here on in. And, you know, France are going away. France are going away, and you can see that Bro now is going to be chased by Eric Frenzel, who was hardly stellar on the previous rotation.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? Of course, he's had Frenzel has had all the form at World Cup. His form has been great leading into the World Championships, but he's just gone off the boil. I normally would expect him to close the gap, but it always seems to extend to Francois Bro.
I sometimes think, Mike, you know, when you come to the end of the World Cup campaign and you pause temporarily to get ready for the World Championships, but remember that the Nordic combiners, they had a big break before the competitions here, and sometimes that's a poor thing because you lose momentum.
You lose getting psyched up for a race. You lose a little bit the feel for the race preparation, and maybe there is an aspect. Yes, they've been away hard training, but you lose this competitive feel.
So once these boys get back into the stadium, there'll be just 4,500 meters to race. So Moen, who's once again got the advantage back. It's really fascinating, isn't it? Moen will always beat Yoshito, and Yoshito, or I should say Clemenson, will always get eclipsed by Akito.
It appears that way. Now this is, of course, an athlete being lapped there. But the fastest team that I make it, David, the Italians have got it down to 57 seconds from a deficit of 1:32, and the Italians now up into 5th place, chasing Norway, or chasing Japan now, and Norway having gone past Japan.
And the reality is, of course, all that good work, no disrespect to Samuel Costa, is coming from Alessandro Pittin.
And he's attacking out there, and he's a short and compact athlete, and these tough conditions suit his style.
So Norway there supporting their man. Once upon a time, you know, Magnus Moen would have eaten this lot up with this sort of deficit, but the fire isn't quite there as it used to be.
The spark, it's still good. It's still good, but he's not charging around as he used to. Although look at him coming off this corner. He is he's got the bronze at the moment, but he's seeing silver ahead of him, and that's inspiring him. He's digging deeper and deeper. I'm surprised they all haven't been briefed to go out wide. It's a little easier wide on our left.
Magnus Moen, a silver medalist at these World Championships with the Norwegian team in the 4x5 kilometer relay, but only 4th on the big hill, and couldn't really wrestle the bronze medal away from Rydzek. They finished pretty tight together, and Moen in the first of the competitions only 26th on the normal hill. So here we go, the 8th rotation of the 10.
Well, Magnus Moen further back down the track on the corner, he nearly took a tumble. It's getting so soft, and we'll see it very soft on the bridge as well, David, and along this home straight.
Back the 7th exchange.
Do you know, Norway and Magnus Moen maybe just beginning to believe it's possible to make contact with the silver. Of course, Clemenson loses somewhat 8-12 seconds each time he goes round.
So out there for Germany on the chase now. It's the first man again, Erik Frenzel in the blue bib. Well, I'm really impressed with the French at the moment. They've been very determined the way they go about this.
Well, it's all about trying to keep your technique, your balance in these difficult conditions.
Frenzel going round there, and then you got Moen again trying to close the gap. Norway sitting in bronze. But you know, for me, the two French boys really are taking this test, this challenge by the scruff of the neck.
And they need to, when you've got that 11-second advantage at the top of the sheet, it's psychologically, you've got to try and fight and maintain that. But, well, Frenzel, beg your pardon, it's with all these rotations going round and round. Well, Clemenson's keeping the strength up this hill. It's as if he's found another gear, David. He's managing. Japan are now in the background to where he was.
Well, not much changed, has it, really? France, Germany, Norway, it's been that way now for quite a while. And the reality is, Mike, it's really difficult to see anybody else getting into the medal run. I shouldn't worry about the gentleman behind there because he's been lapped.
Well, that's right, and the big decision now is, can Norway close this gap from bronze up into silver?
I think the problem with this decision, Mike, is the fact that, yes, the harder track surface is here, but the journey is so much longer that actually I'm not sure that the advantage is going the long way round.
I suppose if he's feeling that he's at least not expending so much energy on each kick out, on each stride, then it's a positive.
time to make that fall, but that is what soft snow can do.
It is. It takes all your balance. It strips you of your balance.
Now, that would have given some fight to Germany there. Jason Lamy-Chapuis waiting to take over on the 8th exchange. And Jason hands over to Francois Brault. So Norway out, and a big cheer there for Magnus Moen. Francois Brault, and then Erik Frenzel, and then Magnus Moen. So this, Mike, is effectively the penultimate lap, and it'll be the anchor men after this now, and of course that fall to Jason Lamy-Chapuis coming into the stadium. It hasn't really helped the Germans to close the gap there. Erik Frenzel, all of them finding problems with these very soft conditions. Around goes Magnus Moen on the last of his 5 rotations, and it really is strung out Indian file. And you've got to say, Mike, most of the Nordic combined competitions have ended like this, really.
They have. Look at this injection of pace, and after the fall from his teammate, he's picking it up. He knows he's got to keep this strong to take away any risks, because all the corners and the soft parts are dangerous. You can fall, you can misplace your ski, and I love this attack up his final climb.
Yeah, and he's really seen off Germany, but Germany haven't seen off Norway, not quite yet. And France looking good to defend the title they won in 2013. And this is Magnus Moen really trying to get on terms with Erik Frenzel, but that camera angle, as you saw, was foreshortening the distance between the two men.
You can just see and feel the pain from Magnus Moen. He's tried on every other rotation. He's caught and got rid of Japan, and he's desperately trying to get onto that silver medal position. But this man, surely, Francois Brault, is going to hand over with a good lead, a substantial and a safe lead, if he can negotiate this horribly deep snow. Oh, it's not fun. The height you're lifting your legs there when you want to save some energy. Fatigued legs at this stage of the race. Everybody's having to adopt this spidery crawling technique.
Yeah, it's hardly elegant, is it? And the man who's going to bring Germany home is Rydsäck, and if he brings them home on the podium, well, it's not going to be another gold, but it could be a silver, and then he'd have a complete set of medals from the championships, because he's got 3 and he's heading for a 4th medal here. And Germany, by and large, really, their squad has had the dominating effect at these Nordic combined events. But now this is Brault going up over the bridge, down to Jason Lamy-Chapuis, and then pats him on the back and says, right, it's all yours, mate. You won it 2 years ago. Bring it home for us again.
Hey, what a good feeling, but it's not over yet, because look at these corners. You can make mistakes. Oh, just get round this safely. Magnus Moen desperately trying to close this gap.
Yeah, but Erik Frenzel's trying to make sure not only that he doesn't give Norway a squeak, but also trying, if he could, to possibly close on the French. So Jason Lamy-Chapuis, last time of asking for the Frenchman. Already 2 bronze medals at this World Championship here in Falun.
Oh, bad change from Norway. A broken pole, in fact. What an absolute mess at this stage in the race. He was in contact there with Germany, with Rydsäck.
Well, Håvard Clemenson has got a tall order here, because Rydsäck, on form, on paper, on everything, is way ahead of anything that Clemenson can produce on the cross-country trails.
And the last thing you need is a snap pole, and that was a terrible changeover to snap that pole. And he's lost all that momentum. He was 2 seconds behind, now it's 6, 7.
And Magnus Moen just does not believe it. But meanwhile, up front, Jason Lamy-Chapuis, he skips round, sees his nearest challengers, and really nobody else has got into this. I mean, after Norway, Finland have moved into 4th place, Japan have dropped to 5th. An extremely disappointing performance by the Japanese Akito and Yoshito Watabe. So Jason Lamy-Chapuis, and I'm really glad, Mike, that today at least there's a bigger crowd in here to see the Nordic combiners, because on previous occasions, as soon as the cross-country race of the day was over, the crowd has really evaporated. It's not the 50,000 plus that we had earlier in the day for the women's 30-kilometer classic, but as soon as Jason gets to the top here, he's going to feel pretty confident that he can hold off Rydzek, but it's not quite over yet.
If the Norwegians hadn't snapped their pole, you just feel that Clemenson's got something from somewhere. He's so angry that that has happened, and maybe that's giving him the energy. And I don't think Jason at the front, Jason Lamy-Chapuis, is entirely safe yet. There he is. There's Rydzek closing. Got the momentum if he takes this corner well.
Yeah, this is where and Rydzek and Jason Lamy-Chapuis in trouble.
Rydzek's going to get him, you know.
Yeah, he is, because 2 things. Jason's running out of gas, and Rydzek took that corner with much more courage. He really let the skis run. He took the risk, and now Jason has to get to the top. He's got to get to the top to close the door. And look at the respective coaches there. France versus Germany. Now Jason on the descent, and Rydzek, whose skis are running better? Rydzek, really good skis there, but Jason has got the advantage at the moment, but it's going to come down to the back straight now and that final climb.
I think this could still be Germany's. It depends on this glide. Rydzek's got the momentum. It's closing the gap rapidly.
And Jason knows it. And a bit of free skating there by Rydzek to try and close. And Rydzek looking for the shorter line on the inside. Coming up, look at the momentum. And Rydzek, well, I thought he was just looking for a silver medal. Now he's looking for a 3rd gold medal.
He couldn't get through there, David. The door was closed on him. He's trying to go round. He could maybe leave it till later.
Yeah, but Jason's got first run round here, but it's not over quite yet. France in black and yellow, Germany on the side there. Good lane choice there by Jason. Here he goes. He wants the title. This is the man. This is the moment. He's not going to be denied. Brave attempt by Rydzek, but well done, Jason. Lamy-Chapuis retains the sprint big hill title for himself and France.
Well, that was impressive, so impressive that Jason Lamy-Chapuis realised what was happening, closed that gap, and Rydzek had to go the long way round and lost everything that he was gaining.
And Håvard Clemenson for Norway, together with Magnus Moen, take the bronze medal. So Francois Brault and Jason Lamy-Chapuis take the gold medal. The silver goes to Erik Frenzel and Johannes Rydzek, and the bronze to Norway. And that's Magnus Moen and Håvard Clemenson, who had their moments, but some were good, some were poor, some were unfortunate.
Well, I must say the French technicians and all the French coaching staff, they looked absolutely shocked at one moment. They thought maybe, just maybe, the French team could lose it. But Jason held on to that steely determination.
Finland into 4th place. A long way back in terms of time, but actually that'll give them a little boost finishing in 4th place. And now Petin bringing the Italians into 5th place.
And Austria, they closed the door, they closed the gap early on, David, but last check they're in Austria down in 7th place.
Yeah, Japan disappointing in 6 there, never really, Mike, at the races.
No, they held on maybe the first 2, 3 exchanges, but ran out of steam. And that's what happens. The effort they put in early really caught up with them.
Czech Republic, and 150 there, and just looking at, you know, that's a minute behind. It's a minute lost during the race, really, to the winners, France.
America, well, starting 2:04 behind, down to 1:59.
Well, actually, an exciting finish to a race where Jason Lamy-Chapuis, 2 pieces of very good track craft right at the end of the race. One closing the door on Rydzyk after the climb up the hill and holding the better line on the right-hander into the straight, and then having a little bit in his pocket and huge desire in his head to not give up the gold medal he won 2 years ago with Sébastien Lacroix.
He did, and I think that when Rydzyk looks at this again, and I'm sure he will, he went so far wide, David. He went way 2 lanes further over. He went way over to the right instead of just trying to stick in the middle, and I think he might have had a better run into his finish line.
Big margins here as these men come home. And just looking, if I can, so Norway at the top of the medal table after today's exploit so far, 9 gold medals. Germany enjoying a fine World Championships with 5, all their success coming from the ski jumpers and the Nordic combiners. And France with 2, well, we're just waiting to see whether it's been updated, 2 silvers and 3 bronze, and that's a fine performance by them. But really delighted for Jason Lamy-Chapuis. He's a great ambassador for Nordic combined.
I think this might put France into 4th position.
Yeah, because
in
the
ranking,
gold medal hasn't been added as yet. So actually, just looking at that, they will eclipse Russia, and they will eclipse Austria, won't they? They'll go 1 gold and 2 silvers and 3 bronze and put them up into 4th place.
And there's the big mistake, David. It was an accident, but a terrible changeover, and surely they need to be practiced when you're doing it under such tension, pressure. You need to keep the poles out of the way.
But of course, the length of pole that Magnus Moen passed to him was not comfortable, and he had to change the pole yet again. But they've scrapped a bronze medal out of it.
They have. Pure, true grit, determination, won through in the end. But they were chasing that silver, and that broken pole took them out of that possibility.
Yeah, they haven't updated the medal table as yet, so I'll just pause on that. But I understand that that's the best performance overall so far at a World Championships by the French team in the Nordic World Championships.
I think that the medal from Maurice Magnificat in the 15-kilometer, a silver medal, obviously that's helping the tally. And of course the French cross-country relay team as well, with the bronze just yesterday.
Well, hopefully we'll catch a few words from François Brault and Jason Lamy-Chapuis to reflect on their success. And you can see Germany pretty close at the end, but France deserved winners there. Norway, well, clear 3rd, well ahead of the rest. So we're expecting news from the ski jumping jury at the top of the hour. And Mike, we haven't been in this situation with the ski jumping. They've pretty well escaped from jail on every day. But now they've got a real test because, of course, tomorrow is the last day and there's only one event on the menu, and that is the men's 50.
What a race, the 50, and in soft you can see today how wet the snow is. That strips the athletes of even more energy. There'll probably be a salting of the men's track tomorrow for the 50, and it will be a fine race with Olsen maybe trying to do what Therese Johaug did today, go out early, break the field early if that's possible. Slightly different task in a 50. But, Frenzel and Rydzek delighted with their performances on the hill and on the tracks, but not quite the gold.
Well, he's a remarkable athlete, Jason Lamy-Chapuis. Both American and French parentage, born in Billings, Montana, had the opportunity to represent the United States, and that was very much in the time of the likes of Todd Lodwick and Bill DeMong. So it could have been equally successful for the United States, but chose to represent France, and what a good decision that has turned out to be for the whole of the French team, because he's been very much the icon, the inspiration, the achiever at major championships. Still only 28 years of age, but the understanding is, here he is. Francois on the left.
Champions in the team sprint 2015, title defenders, third medal each for you guys. This is the week of your life, huh?
Yeah, it's so amazing. I can't believe it. Today was so hard, the track was soft, and we did together a really great job.
Jason, you looked really, really dead coming into this stadium on the last lap. Like, how did you manage to keep the Germans off your back and to take this gold?
I don't know. I really don't know. We're so tired with the track so soft. I couldn't lift my legs anymore, but I managed to save a little energy for the end. So tired now, but so happy with Francois.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks.
Silke, the press attaché for the Nordic Combined, there with the questions, and two delighted men. And so they should be, because that was a real example from Jason Lamy-Chapuis of desire, of will, of talking to himself, inside himself. I will not be taken. Well, one of the legends of Nordic cross-country skiing, Marja-Liisa Kurvasniemi, to participate in this medal ceremony. She, of course, at the height of her powers throughout the 80s.
I remember Sarajevo, the medal she won there. I was actually there. That was 84, then 88, still racing through to 92.
Well, I tell you, the stadium is emptying rapidly here, and I just wonder how many ski jumping fans are going to stay for the Big Hill team event. It's usually a really worthwhile affair. So Magnus Moen, the taller of these two men, of course. This is bronze medal to go with the silver that the Norwegians picked up in the 4x5 kilometer relay. But actually, by Magnus's high standards, it's another season, it's another championship, Mike, where that gold medal individually at a major championship has eluded him. He's got tons of silvers and bronzes. Erik Frenzel on with Johannes Rydzek. They look pretty pleased, and so they should, but none more pleased than these two. Well, they've had to wait, France, until the penultimate day of the championships, but now, thanks to these two boys, they've got their first gold medal. Jason Lamy-Chapuis, bronze on the normal hill, bronze in the relay, gold now in the team sprint, and for 6th place on the large hill. So not a bad series, particularly when you consider how really things got away from him last year in Sochi. Not a games that he would wish to remember.
Yeah, amazing and determination to come back, to put the ghost of poor performances behind you and then come back focused. And the desire there to the line was all of his old fight back for that moment. He wanted that gold medal.
Well, they do say that at the end of this season, he's going to take what we think is going to be a 1 or 2 year sabbatical to concentrate on his flying and his pilot's licensing over actually in Southampton, so I'm told. And if that is the case, well, the circuit will be poorer without him, but hopefully he might well come back in, say, 2017. Well, yeah, 2017 for the next World Championships in Lahti and the build-up to the Olympics in 2018 in South Korea, because, as I said, he's only 28, so he could do this.
He could. His skills are in place, the timing, the movement, it's all there, but it does then, after a break, mean an awful lot of training. And after a break, sometimes that can be quite difficult.
Francois Brault now with another gold. Just going to say, of course, Francois Brault, a former winner of a Team Gundersen gold medal. So this will be very special, getting this team sprint gold and a gold and silver at the championships. Well, this is his best ever major championship achievements. So Nordic combined is over. Team jumping, fingers crossed, to come. And then, of course, the big 50-kilometer mass start classic individual race tomorrow. So just for the moment, Mike Dixon and myself will take our leave, but we'll be back keeping an eye on the big team hill momentarily. For now, though, bye-bye from Falun.